Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Whew, we going in it. Now I'm just kidding.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them. And he's one of my favorite men to come emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
Hey y'all, it's Coach K, and I want to welcome you to season 4 of the Level Up with Coach K podcast. I'm so excited to be back and so grateful to have you here listening to this episode. I want to go ahead and give you a brief overview of who I am, what we do here, and how things roll so that you can, get a feel for how our podcast goes. All right, so I started this podcast a few years ago during the pandemic, like most people did. I wanted to create a platform and a space for us to help other people transition well, and also to expose like our youth to all the different things that they have options towards. I wanted them to know that they had options and that they had the space to explore and to figure out what works best for them. And so I created this platform because I wanted to have other people come on, share their stories, their life confessionals, and in hopes of teaching the youth and anyone listening that you have options, that you will endure trials and tribulations, but you can overcome them just like the person sitting here speaking to you. So this season, our theme is the long game, thinking long game. And I'm really, really focused on helping students to really think about the future, but being present, learning to understand that your present moment is the most important thing and the future is coming, but you want to plan with the end in mind. So this season, I'm really focusing on like planting seeds of positivity, and exposing you all to different types of options and opportunities so that you can see that there are other pathways to get to whatever it is you're called to, and that you can do things in different ways. So this first episode of this season is just gonna be me. I just wanted to get reacquainted with y'all, and I want to talk about a very touchy subject. Now, I know that a lot of people think that if they do everything right, you're perfect, you do everything right, that everything will fall into place. Well, I want to be the first to tell you that that is the furthest thing from the truth. So I want to pose the question today: what happens when you do everything right and it still doesn't work? That's like adulting 101, y'all. There are so many things that can happen when it comes to life, so many things that you can be caught up in, and so many options, right? It's so many ways that you can go. But I think that, when you make the decision to let God lead your life and the Holy Spirit be the God of your life, like guide of your life, it changes the way that you operate, and it also takes you on a pathway that you may not have wanted to be on in the first place. So I'm gonna take y'all through a little journey real quick and tell you a little bit about what happened when I had to surrender and give God, the will per se. So when I was in high school, I just really thought that I was gonna be playing sports. Like, I have the tattoo to prove it. I have the time, the sweat, the dedication, all of that dedicated to playing sports, getting a scholarship to go to college, and then also going to play in the WNBA. That did not happen. I suffered an injury my junior year to my knee that caused me to, I was able to recover, but I was never able to compete the way that I used to compete. What happened is, or what had happened was, when we played this game in Dallas, I went to save the ball. I was running full speed, and I ran into the wall where there's supposed to be cushion. There's supposed to be padding in the wall. But in this particular wall, there was no padding in there. So I hit my whole body, knees, everything, hit that wall, and it caused my knee to shift a little bit. I didn't tear anything. I didn't hurt, like really rip anything or anything like that. But I guess the impact of that me hitting the wall at that speed caused something to shift in my knee, and my knee was never the same again. So I was distraught when I realized that, I would still be able to play, but I wouldn't be able to compete at the level that I was able to compete at when I was, I guess at my optimal level. And so I wasn't willing to accept that. As I graduated and applied for college and everything, still had it in my head that I was going to be able to, walk on somewhere. I was going to be able to take some time to heal, to get better, to get stronger, and still try out for a team somewhere. Originally, when I was in school, I had an opportunity or a verbal agreement that I would be going to A&M. And the minute they found out I was injured, they snatched that thing back so fast. It was like, yeah, so about that, you're not going to be playing for us. Like, so all my little offers, all of my little interest was gone after I injured my knee. But after I graduated from high school, I I really went into beast mode trying to get my body back into shape, into the space that I felt that God wanted me to be in. I felt like God was telling me to do this. Like, I mean, that's what I kept telling myself. But I ended up going to school at Lamar University, and I knew that I would be able to try out because they usually do tryouts every year. And so when I got to school, um, I of course was trying to find out how to try out for the team, and then I found out that they were not hosting tryouts for that first year. So when I got there, I was like, all right, cool. They're not doing tryouts. That gives me another year to get myself together, to get to work and to get moving, right? So that whole year, I dedicated myself to just pounding the pavement, just being out there shooting, out there doing drills, putting in the work in the dark, just like really just working myself to death, trying to make sure that I was able to attain the goals and the vision that I set for myself, right? Um, and I did all of that work. I was even known by the people in our dorm that as the girl that's always on the court. Like, I had the persona of an athlete, the persona of a basketball player, and I felt like, yeah, I'm gonna get this regardless. I'm gonna work myself. I'm gonna get it right in my own strength, right? And then after going through all of that, after going through all of the things that I went through, they let me know once again that they weren't doing tryouts. So not only did God close the door in my face once, but he closed it in my face twice. But I was still determined, y'all. I was like, hey, I'm going to play. I'm playing in college. But getting shut down like that, I was very much so upset, distraught. I felt like it wasn't fair because I felt like I did everything I was supposed to do. I prepared well. I did my work. I made sure I was helping other people. I made sure I did everything. And still, the thing that I wanted the most wasn't attainable for me. And then I later got a call from my mom and my brother, and I ended up finding out that my mom needed help with my nephew. And so I had to make the decision to leave Lamar after all of that, to go home, transfer to UTA, and go through the process of changing my whole dynamic once again because I needed to help my family. So not only did God close the door in my face twice, but then I got another door closed in my face because not only am I not going to get to stay at the school I wanted to go to, but I have to move back and go to the local school, which is UTA. All right, so I get to UTA, and at this point, I'm kind of like in a headspace that it's like, it's no use in me even really trying. I tried to play intramurals. I tried to, play around on the court just after class and stuff, and it never felt the same. Like, I love the sport still at the same level, but I did not have the ability to do things the way that I felt would be necessary. So, I had to go through this process of, grieving the thought of me playing sports again. That took me through like a little mini depression. It took me through a little identity crisis, and it caused me to really be like, if I don't have sports, what do I have, right? Um, it's almost as if I was allowing my athletic ability to be an idol. And I think that part of the reason why God may have stripped it from me is because he didn't want me to be caught up in that, or to be in a space where I felt like, you know, sports is the end all be all. So, um, I really believe that he just had a better and bigger plan for me. So now in hindsight, I can say that. But um, after going through all of that, I ended up taking a job being an after school professional. Like, so I helped students and after school care. We were like counselors. We helped a lot of students as they were transitioning through school, especially high school. I worked in elementary, middle school, and high school throughout my time going to school at UTA. And so it was fun. I was able to, connect with students easily. I was able to, help them to transition and just broaden their horizons a little bit. And I mean, I've served in so many ways when it comes to working with the youth. Like, I was a nanny for years. I've been in just a lot of different spaces when it comes to the youth. But the year that really like changed it all for me was 2012. 2012 is the year that I graduated from UTA, and it was also the year that I was introduced to this group of kids at my alma mater, Trimble Tech. We have a step team there that's called GBT, Gamma Beta Psi, and I was pretty much introduced to these students by chance. Like, honestly, I wasn't supposed to be, I wasn't even supposed to be the one who was leading the step team. It was supposed to be my friend Tiffany that was over our after school care. But for some odd reason, I was the one who was appointed to go over to tech and to, help the students the most, like to serve them the most, or just to be in their presence the most, because Tiffany was pretty much our supervisor at the after school care at another school. So I was appointed to go over there. We were supposed to do this together. Tiffany and I were supposed to coach this team together. So I go over to I go over to tech, and I meet these students. Instantly they are like cool, like just super duper duper amazing people. They were just full of life, full of energy, just so much light. And they were exactly what I needed in that moment, because as I was graduating from college and everything, or preparing to graduate, I was trying to figure out what I was about to do. Like, what was I about to do with this degree that I was getting? Like, was it even worth it? I was questioning a lot of things about myself, because the very thing that I thought that I was supposed to be doing did not work out, and I did everything right in my eyes, right? So after a while, working with those students, I started to see a lot of things that would stick out to me, like them maybe not having access to the information that they need when it comes to going to college and getting a job, or them struggling with relationships, them struggling with friendships, them struggling. Like, I got to do a lot of life with these students and see them in different areas of their life. And like, over time, I just started feeling like this weight in here, this weight in my heart. Like this was becoming to me, it was starting to mean a lot more than just after school practices and helping them with, mastering their moves when it comes to stepping. And I was a little scared of that. Like, I felt the call. I felt the weight of the call to be more than a coach to these students. And it scared me. It scared me because I was like, who am I to be a role model? I'm struggling right now trying to figure out how I'm going to maneuver and make things happen, and how I'm going to land on my feet. And God, you want me to be a light for these students when I'm in the darkest space of my life. And I thought that was hilarious that God wanted me to do that. Like, I just was like, this is what you want me to do? And so for a long time, I ran from it. I was like, I'm not about to be a role model. I'm not about to be the one that they can call on and just do all of that, because for one, I was afraid that I had to be perfect. I was like, if I'm a role model, I need to be perfect so that they can make sure that they are perfect and they don't make mistakes. When in reality, it's the mistakes and the overcoming of the mistakes that were the most impactful for these students. But um I came to a defining moment when I was able to watch these kids overcome adversity and still win big. They were winning championships. They were winning all these different competitions and different things like that. And I came to the conclusion, or I surrendered. I surrendered to God when I realized how much just simply being present and being a sounding board for them was enough. Like, I didn't have to do anything extra. I didn't have to extend. I didn't have to do anything. I was literally just there, and I let God do his thing. Um and I fought it, y'all. I'm telling you, like, I was like, I'm not trying to be a role model, but the more I ran from it, the more I resisted, the more it became like it was like gravitating towards me, like and it took me taking the time to really surrender to God and letting him have control over my life again. I had to grieve the idea that I wasn't going to play sports again, but I also in that moment was able to change my perspective and understand that although I'm not playing sports, I can still impact it. I can still be impactful, but it was going to require me to surrender to God's ways and his methods. And I had to surrender to, you know, the surrender the titles that I thought that I should hold, and really just focus on the purpose that God has given me. It was no questioning what God had handed me. He literally was like, you've been a role model. Like, in my quiet time, this is how God was talking to me. You've been a role model. If you look back over your life, you've had numerous moments where you were either helping someone transition, being supportive, um, providing encouragement, creating resources and sharing them, and being a connector of people. He brought back the moments where I was in middle school. I served as a peer mediator in middle school. He brought up the fact that I served as a nanny for numerous years and was still nannying at that time. He brought up my track record, and the things that he's placed in my life to help me to prepare for this transition. And I think a lot of times when it comes to purpose and dreams and things that we think that we supposed to have, we forget that God should be the center of everything. And when we start getting a little too sassy and too egotistical and focused on, doing what we think is best, I think sometimes God has to get our attention. And I always say this: I don't want God to ever have to demand my attention ever again. Like, I don't want him to have to do that ever again. Because it's too painful. It's too much struggle. It's too much, going against the grain. And I think that with a lot of us, we're fighting against God when we need to be going with the flow of what God is doing. So when it comes to surrendering, I will tell you this: it's going to be extremely important that we take the time to really ask ourselves, is this something that I believe God is telling me to do? Or is this something that I am hell bent on doing because it feels good to me? You have to ask yourself, why am I doing this thing, and why is it important? And if your answer is only for your own satisfaction, that's not God. It's not even remotely close to God, because that's not how he operates. That's not his character. Anything that you're doing of course, you should enjoy, but it should be something that will plant seeds of positivity and also impact others. It's got to be bigger than you. It has to be so much bigger than you. And that's what those kids taught me. Seeing how the youth responds to the God in me, which is Jesus, the Holy Spirit, seeing how they respond to me in different situations, in different scenarios, different places, different sectors is insane. Like I really feel blessed now. Before I felt burdened. Now I feel blessed because I understand the power that God has given me, and I understand that I have to take on the responsibility of, maintaining and growing the things that God has placed in my hand. He's literally given me he's trusting me with his children. And when I think about that, when I stepped back and I thought about exactly what God was doing, I was able to see that this wasn't even about me, but it's the fact that he trusts me that much that he gave me the ability to have, you know, a certain type of access to the youth. And I think that is massive. Like, it's not normal. It's not normal the way that the youth responds. Because it's not like how they would normally respond in today's world. So I had to surrender because I was able to see the fruit before I even started the work. Like, before I even got serious about it, I was able to see the fruit of what he was giving me before I even implemented a thing. So my advice to you all, or my tips, whatever I would tell you, is this. If you have a dream and you believe in your heart of hearts that this is something that you truly want, and that you believe that God has gifted this to you, I want you to take some time to ask yourself, why is this important? Who is it going to impact? And also just take some time to make sure you speak to God daily about whatever it is you're trying to do. You want to be in alignment with God so that it can be less painful. You're going to still experience some pain. You're still going to experience some pain because it's the refinement process. It's helping you to prepare for whatever the purpose is. But you want to make sure that you are in alignment with God because you don't want to operate in your own strength. You want to operate in the strength of God because it's going to flow. It's going to be effortless. The thing that you do the most effortless is probably your gift that God has given you to create the platform that he needs you to create. I've always known that working with people and being able to having the gift of words or putting words together has been my gift. I knew that from the jump. But little did I know that that gift was going to spawn into coaching, writing books, helping, mentoring students, mentoring parents. Like, the things that we think too small. God gives us numerous gifts and we be like, oh, I'm about to just go play sports. It's so much bigger than that. The gifts that he gives you the platform to discover your other gifts. And it helps you to also continue to grow spiritually. It holds you accountable, and it helps you to, to think about what it means to stay in alignment with God. If you want to do this thing the right way, you have to surrender. You can do everything right and everything will still go wrong in your eyes. If you do not get connected to your one and only source, Jesus Christ, God. If you don't get in alignment with God, you're going to do all this legwork when you could have been just coasting. Because when you let the Holy Spirit lead you, it's a lot easier to just like endure the trials, endure the pain, because ultimately we already won. The victory is already ours. You already know that. So I just really want to encourage you all, anybody that's struggling when it comes to surrendering. You got to realize that once you told God that you're going to follow Jesus Christ, like once you chose to take on kingdom business, you already surrendered. That was your first form of surrendering. You're going to surrender numerous times after this. It's just going to be it's going to continue to be the process. You're going to surrender. You're going to keep transforming into a new person. You're going to learn new skills. You're going to reapply. Like, it's a cycle. But the difference between this type of cycle and a worldly cycle is you're going to see the fruit. Your fruit is going to grow. It's going to bless other people. It's going to bless you. It's going to bless your family. It's going to be the overflow effect because you are connected to the right you're connected to God. You're connected to the one and only real source. And so I just want to encourage you today to just let go of what you think you're supposed to do. Talk to God, be in partnership with him, ask him what it is he desires for you. He's going to order your steps and he's going to give you the desires of your heart. But you want to make sure that you are laying that solid foundation, because whenever you're going to need it when you're traveling in this world. This world is we live in a fallen world. And what I mean by that is like people, things, places, objects, all that kind of stuff. There are things that are going to try to come against you. And you do not want to be standing alone in this process of this thing called life. You want to be standing knowing that you got God on your side and that he will fight your battles for you. And so I just want to encourage you all to take some time, spend time with God, get to know his character. Spend time with yourself, get to know your character, find out what you need to adjust, and know that if God created you, he knows what's best for you. He already created the plan. He already wrote it. We're just living it out. We just need to make sure that we're getting locked in so that we can be in the flow. So we won't have to go through as many, highs and lows. Lows that we don't want to go through, all these lows that we don't have to go through. So take your time. Trust God. Whenever he tells you to turn left, just do it. You may not understand why, but in the end, you'll see that what he's doing is grooming you for the purpose. And we all have been called to, bring more people to the kingdom and to Jesus through our gifts. He blesses us with so many, but he's given us the lovely gift of building the kingdom. And we do that through making sure that he gets all the glory on the platforms that we sit in or that we stand on, and that we live a life that is a reflection of his character, him and his ways. So, all right, y'all. I hope that helps you when it comes to overcoming this nonsense of this world, and when it comes to surrendering, it's not your life anyway. Jesus paid for it. He paid a ransom for us, with his life. And if we don't do anything else, we owe him our life. We owe God the dedication and the time. We owe him that much just to do what he says do. If you love him, you will do what he says to do. And it'll make your life so much better and you'll be at ease. So, all right, y'all. Until next time, stay focused, trust God, and respect the process. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Level 27 Coaching. And next week, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have a guest of honor. So it won't just be me. But, be sure to, go check out our old episodes and make sure that you lock in with us so that you can stay on track, and that we can help you in any way that we can. So I love y'all. Be blessed. And I will talk to y'all next week. All right. Bye.